Oh, beautiful. Looks like we're already recording. Oh, that was smart of me to get that up and recording as soon as I press the button. That's good to know. So I guess we'll just jump right in. I was going to give this a minute for those of you who will be joining live, but I think just out of respect, I know there's quite a few people who said they're going to be jumping into the replay. So we're just going to jump right in today. For those of you who don't know me very well, there's a few of you that are new names to me, and my name is Katie Burke. I've been meditating and walking with the Ascended Master Isis for quite a few years now, and she's really just such a comforting and for me personally, just a very powerful guide and master. I've been sitting with her for about 30 minutes, just in silence, really feeling her energy before starting this call. And she has guided me to be in, it's very much my higher self working with Isis. She's just such a powerful guide in my day-to-day life. And she's guided my family to be in Sedona, Arizona. So I also just feel the support of this land, really helping us out with this call today. Sedona is a very clearing, you can really do a lot of clearing work here. It's unlike anything I've really ever experienced before. And I don't know, I never really, I guess, fully understood. It wasn't that I didn't believe it, but I never really fully understood the power of different places on the planet and how they support us in different ways. So it is a rainy day out. The traffic is a little bit loud out the window. I hope that's not distracting anyone. But I'm right here with the red rocks out my window. It's a very rainy, integrative sort of day here in Sedona, and just a really good day to like cozy in and cut some cords, clear some energy, and step forward into a new way of being. So we've got the spring energy just right around the corner, supporting us to blossom into our fullest potential. So what just a few things to start. I want to just go over what you can expect from this class today. Now, I have 2 hours carved out. I don't know that we'll use all of that time. I doubt that we will, but we'll see. I do have some notes here, but I really do just like to, as much as I can. It's funny, I want to prepare as much as I can, and there's so much that I can tell is just going to just very naturally arise in today's class as well. So we'll just kind of be flexible. We've got 2 hours carved out. If we don't use all of that, though, that's okay. And I'm going to just go into a few stories, a few examples of some things that I've seen recently and that I've experienced with some of my friends, my very highly intuitive friends, and that includes everyone on this call. And just those experiences. And then we will be ending with that clearing ceremony. And when I send out the replay, I'll just make sure to let you guys know if you want to do that ceremony again. I'll try to find where exactly in the recording, if you want to skip right to that and re-listen to that and bathe yourself in that clearing energy with Isis again, specifically with our digital, she's calling it digital debris, which I love. I think that's so ingenious. So I'd like to give everyone just a little bit of background of where the intention for this class came from, because I think that is actually quite important, because for me, it really brought a lot of clarity to the state of our multiple realities that we are navigating right now. I can't, personally, I can't remember another time that that I have felt that I am navigating so many different realities at once. Um, and maybe you can relate to that. But I was going on a walk, and really just, kind of one of those, just like really needed to connect to the earth again. Now, this call, I will say, the focus of this call and of this class, it's really about the mastery of staying online. And not because, of course, we all need, I just want to, preface and like disclaimer, yeah, we all need breaks from being on our phone, from being attached to this technology. And of course, the clearing ceremony that we're going to do, it's going to be really helpful. You may just want to take the rest of the night tonight, or if work doesn't allow that, or if life doesn't allow that, to just choose an evening to go into ceremony even deeper without any technology around. We'll get to that. But I went on this walk and I just felt Isis with me so strongly the other week. And it was so special. I felt like there was such a window open to ask anything, and answers were just landing and coming through really clearly. And I was really surprised, I guess, to hear when I asked, first I was just kind of, some personal things going on in my life, and she was being really helpful. And I was like, what about things that, that you want to teach, or that you want me to share about more publicly? And this, of course, applied for myself as well, but it was about how to stay online in a good way, because, getting offline and going for those walks and going out into nature and taking some time to breathe, those are all things that we need to remember to do. And that's, of course, really important. But how do we just keep showing up to this, to this energy of the online realm authentically and open and consistently? It really is quite a lot of energy when we start a live video, when we're sharing, when we're literally giving a window into our personal lives. She was just reminding me, or teaching me maybe for the first time, how that is just it's a lot of energy. And it's not that it's impossible to do at all. Clearly millions of people are doing that every day. But for the people that are on this call, you guys are, first, when we're working with ascended masters such as Isis, who was, she's just been with us. She's been with the collective on this call for a really long time. She really knows you. She really knows how to guide you. She knows what you've been through to get to this point where you are right now. And it truly, I always feel that her prayer for us, and the way she wants to support us, it is so practical. It is so, it's so easy. It's just, she just wants to take everything and be like, sister, let's make this easier. Let's make this way easier. And that's just a good friend, that's a good friend to have. And so, going on this hike, opening myself up to, what do you want to teach on? And she just showed me how much we can let go of, and where we can invite new practices into our digital realms. And this is the part that was really interesting, that she really wanted me to understand, and what I want to do my best to communicate as we're talking about this topic, is that the online world at this point, it truly is we can think of it as a planet on its own. We can think about as almost like these mini planets, these mini ecosystems, truly. And it's really important that we become very, just a little more, I don't know if serious is the right word, but I guess just pretty respectful of how we are engaging with, these are very busy places, and they're very, they're like their own complete little ecosystem. Now, is it a perfect ecosystem and a balanced ecosystem? No, it's not. It's not. But nonetheless, this is like something that we've all created and we've all agreed to, and for many good reasons. We've all agreed that, we've come here to be such powerful creators that this opportunity to create and express our truest sense of self, our truest character. What a way to do that. My God. And so this is really amped up, and this is really fast, and this is really different than anything we've really navigated before. And it's becoming more powerful. Like all of these platforms, and kind of the three main ones that I'm like thinking of right now. We have Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. Like just those three. I know that there's so many others. And we have our email, and we have just the apps we have, really just like the whole setup of our phone and text messages, all of it, right? It's this entire realm. It's an entire a place unto its own. And I just want to invite all of you on the call, because all of you on the call are here anchoring in a consciousness that not everyone agreed to. Not everybody on the internet like raised their hand and said, I'm going to go down. I'm going to incarnate at that time. And I want Christ consciousness flowing through me, and to be interacting with this realm and with our own lives and our own families, and staying really present and staying really open to all of that. There's a lot of energy moving around in a single day. So just take a moment and like allow that to be new information to yourself. Because even from a year ago, I've noticed on these platforms how much different it is. And we're just going to talk about 2019. I'm not going to go into like, where are things going, or like, how did we get here? It doesn't really matter for this conversation today. What matters, and what I feel is relevant, is that I do know a lot of you on the call, and the reality is this is a vital partner. Okay, this whole realm, it's like we need to make friends with it, and we need to know how to be really sovereign up against this very busy, energetically busy realm. And so she was just kind of giving me that download on this walk, and really asking for me to come into right relationships with it. And what an exciting, we can think about like, what an exciting opportunity to take these characters, these personalities that we've come here with, and express. And that's where I really want to just send some encouragement. And I was really feeling the Ascended Master Hathor wanting to come in as well for this particular part of the call, in how much fun we can start to have again, how we really can use these windows, and I'm just like, your phone, this window that we have that you can hold it, and how much fun you can have. And Hathor has always showed herself to me as someone who literally danced through life. She had a beat, she had a rhythm in her step, in her walk, and I have chills saying that. It's just the way that she physically moved through her lifetime was beautiful. There was dance, there was like creative genius just in her existence, just in her beingness. And so she loves I mean, I just felt her really this morning as I was sitting down and making some notes for what I wanted to talk about. And she was just like, don't forget to be beautiful. Don't forget to show all of your talents and all of, you know, what makes, what you believe makes life beautiful. It's going to, obviously it's different for all of us, but she really was just, you know, giving me that vision again of how she danced through her life. She didn't walk around. It's like, I feel that when I invite Hathor, her presence, it's like there's a dance happening. It's so much more than walking with, you know, some of these other ascended masters. I feel like there's like a day-to-day sort of step that, you know, that we do to get, and it's a little more practical. And then, you know, Hathor is just like a party, and the unlimitedness of her energy and how she just wants that to be reflected so much to us. So there's a little bit we'll get to with that. And how we can show up with a really powerful expression. And you know, I just really feel her so strongly wanting to come in and assist with that and making it much lighter, much, much lighter. So let me take a look at my notes and where I want to go next. Listen for a moment. So with that expression that Hathor is really showing us, that very light on your feet, really just, you know, energy just moved through her with such incredible power, and Isis as well, of course. But what I think we want to talk about a little bit now is how to not allow any interference with that expression, with the expression of the purity that you already are, with the beauty that you already are, with the human that you all, you know, that you are, and showing that to the world through your embodiment, right? Of just of putting your face on camera or writing words or however it is that you're showing up online. It's the question that wants to be explored right now is how can we allow that expression to really blossom and be mindful of the interference that can come in and sort of muck that up and like get in the way a little bit or just throw us off our balance and interfere with that expression. So what does that look like in the digital realm, and how can we make sure that we are staying really clear of it? And this is where I want to share a story with one of my good girlfriends I was connecting with. And we were talking, she's just like, how are you feeling about social media? And at the time, this was before I went on that walk and was talking with Isis, and I was really personally struggling. And I'm sure everybody on this call can relate to this moment of, I was just like, man, I would love to just like delete it all. Like I would really love that. I'm over it. I don't want to do it anymore. It's just, there's something about it that's so exhausting right now. And she was like, yeah. And she's like, you know, I want to tell you this story of something that happened to me. Now, this friend of mine, she has a huge and growing YouTube channel. She's very online, and she's interacting with people online all the time. And so this is very much a part of her world and a part of how she makes money. And she's so beautifully authentic in her videos. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know how you do it because I'm really feeling over it. And she's like, I want to tell you this story of something that happened to me. And it was, the energy of it was just so interesting, and I want to share it with you. So she was, you know, she's putting videos out of herself, which I know a lot of you are as well, or writing, you know, there's an expression coming forth, right? And it's authentic, it's heart opened, it's really beautiful. And when that happens, when we create in that way and publish that, there's so many people who are still really, they're really trying to find themselves. They're really trying to find their authentic expression. And so what happened to my friend is that she started to notice one of her followers, or just someone, she somehow ended up seeing one of her followers' content, and her follower was really imitating her in her videos. So I think unconsciously, but this other woman was just putting out videos and really trying to be very much like my friend. And it was really bothering my friend. She was like, it just was weird. Like I could feel her trying to be like me. And that can be such an interesting experience. And this is just one example of some of the interesting energetic things that can transpire. And I want to just kind of share how she went about clearing this in a really good way. I thought it was in a really, really powerful way. So she's watching the videos of this person, and it's just so odd because it seems very clear, and it's just like another presence in the room. It also felt very much to my friend like part of our journey of being online is that we come across so many people and we smooth things out almost, without even talking directly to one another sometimes, just by kind of feeding off of each other's energy, off of each other's story, and it's sharpening our focus and our ability to come back to center, and come back to really who we are. So this was really starting to just like bother my friend, and she was starting to feel really jealous of this person. And she's like, it was so weird. I never feel this way, but I really got sucked in. And I could feel all of these feelings that didn't feel like hers. Right. So my friend decided to just go ahead and block this, the follower. And then as soon as she did that, she was like, okay, wait, that's not right. That doesn't feel quite right. So she unblocked the person. She then noticed though, that when you do that, and I think it was on Instagram, when you do that, then the person is no longer following you. So anyway, so this was all kind of happening. And my friend was like, as soon as I did that, as soon as I could see she wasn't following me any longer, I felt like a huge weight off of my back. Like it actually just like it went away and back to the source. And she's like, I realized I was feeling so much anxiety, so much judgment, or not judgment, comparison to other people. And she realized that wasn't hers. It was the follower. And but what happened was there was an energetic cord that established, and now she was feeling into that person's field. She was feeling all of these things that were completely unfamiliar of her, not her character. She'd already really had done a lot of this personal work. It was so confusing, so baffling. And then as soon as she really kind of took that step and cut that cord, things felt so clear. And she's like, I couldn't believe the amount of energy I had the rest of the night. It was just incredible. And so I share that story for a few reasons. One is that what I briefly mentioned on is that this is such an incredible opportunity to be looking into so many mirrors online. It's very overwhelming. But sometimes there's a person that pops into your life, into that online life, and there's something there. And that's always such an interest. So go into whenever that happens, go into it a little bit, try to figure it out. And what Isis really has always encouraged me to do is that this, to some people, this whole conversation, this whole call, but like this specifically about going in a little bit deeper with some of these topics and, figuring out do I block this person? Do I just unfriend them? Do I just need to take a break from social media altogether? Facebook has this awesome feature now where you can unfollow someone for 30 days, which I think that's really kind of perfect. Maybe it's that. So these little details about figuring all of that out, about cleaning up your digital life and your online social media, those connections that are being made, and the way that um, people are allowed to contact you, whatever your privacy settings are, all of these things, and really examining them from scratch today. These are the kind of things, this is where Isis, she she wants to come up right and sit down right next to you, because it's these little life details that I find she has such a deep interest in. And she really, anyone who I believe is drawn to her, one of the qualities of that I feel like in the collective of the priestesses of this lineage of Isis is that we get particular about things, and we like our life to be set up and organized and very clear in so many seemingly little ways, but the details to us are important. And even to the point of where it may seem to someone that you're really fussing over something, but you want it to be just right. And this has always been true for me. And I speak to this because once I was able to just accept this about myself, it just felt so much better. and this is going to translate into the boundaries and the way that you show up online, the way you do not show up online, the way that you communicate online, the way you do not communicate online, where all of those boundaries are set, and getting into the particulars about it. Get in particulars, it's one of my personal, like, I get chills when I say particulars, because for me, and I believe for many women who are attracted to Isis, we just need our life set up in this way so that we can consistently show up. If these little details are not tended to, it can be very difficult to be in this human experience. Okay, so if that's you as well, then honor it and just take the time to get the little things figured out so that you can get on with things and you don't get into a cycle, kind of where I was when my friend was like, how are you feeling about social media? And I was like, awful. I hate it. I don't want to, like, I just want to, like, only be with my children forever, like, I just want to, like, be with them until they're 40 and not, and just, like, not engage. And that's not my divinity. That's not who I am. And by inviting Isis in to get really clear on some boundaries, on cord cutting, on seeing social media through new eyes. And this is just going to be something I think we're going to have to come back to and repeat every few months, because that whole planet is changing so quickly. The ecosystem, the algorithms, the way that it functions as a place, as a realm, it's changing so quickly. So there's always that permission to come back to, how is this serving me and my expression, and changing it up, and not being afraid to completely drop what wasn't, it just doesn't work for you and it doesn't serve you any longer. And maybe that's where I feel that she wants to go next in the conversation. So there's probably, for a lot of us who have gone through that, right, of just, this isn't working for me anymore. It's not bringing me life. And that is if there was, for me, in my relationship with Isis, like, if she were to introduce herself to you for the first time, it would be something like, hi, I'm the Ascended Master Isis. I can guide you to more life. This essence of life and being alive and being really grounded in your expression, it is so, I fall short of words, because to say that it's important is like it's like not, it's everything. It's everything. It's everything to be connected to your life, to the divinity of your life, to the blessing of your life, to the, it's just, I fall short of how to even describe what the word life actually means, especially in the presence of Isis, because she has such a reverence for the human lifetime. You know, it's just such an incredible experience. Um, and one of the things that really helps us stay in a place of life, of abundant life, of growing life, of expanded life, of blossoming life, is that we don't carry around things that are dead, and that we bury our dead. So, and by that, that's what she was kind of showing me with the digital debris, the things that just no longer work. Okay, they're dead. It's dead energy. And what she has really opened me up to and given me a process for is, how do we take what is dead and honor it with a burial, but we give it back to the earth. It's no longer yours to carry. You don't have to carry around dead things anymore. If it doesn't serve, it doesn't serve. And you can, you know, you can just take a moment, recognize what that is, visually bury it in the ground, breathe into that, of course, and then look to where, what new can be brought in, what new seeds are sprouting up that need your attention. And the thing is, a lot of you guys know, you know, the thing with with I think a lot of the people on this call, once we can get into that place of breathing, taking a minute, really dropping into our bodies in a powerful way, we know what needs to be done. You do, you know what needs to be done. And inviting Isis in, if there's anything that's kind of weighing you down from what needs to be done, it just kind of taking some time to make sure that's buried, to make sure it's seen, make sure you can, you know, cry it out, grieve it. And so there's some things within our you know, for me personally, within this social media landscape that I'm grieving, that I miss. It's not that, you know, it's just not the same for me as it was before. But that's not worth really dwelling on so much, other than to look at it and see what I've learned from that. And how can it be even better going forward? What were the things that I really did love? And how can I weave that in? So, you know, simply put, like a true feeling of connecting with other people, and a true feeling of like dropping into, if my girlfriend shares something, that I really sit with that share for a moment, and I connect to her energy, and I connect to what it is she's going through. I feel like the pace at which we go through this realm, we're just flying through it, where when it first began, there was a bit more of it was just slower. It was like flipping through a magazine or something, you know, you were taking a minute on each page. It's just not that way anymore. It's like a jet. And it doesn't have to be that way for you, but I'm just saying, I think we've all felt that, where you just feel like, wow, I took in so much information today about different people, and it just it's like not even spiritually mature to think that that doesn't have an effect on us. So so it's just a good thing to, like, again, drop into the awareness of how powerful this realm is. And I don't say that to be dramatic. I just say that to, like, you know, make sure light workers can, like, hold on to their sanity with a firmer grip, which I need. So what else? Okay, so yeah, it's like, it's no longer, it's not really appropriate any longer to kind of brush this off of like, it's only social media. It's really not honoring your experience. If there's anyone who is kind of feeling that, like, you no longer have to just say like, oh, you don't need to be bothered by this. It's just it's just Instagram, it's just Facebook, it's just, don't worry about it. It's, don't let it bother you. Now there can be like, sure, maybe that's appropriate sometimes, but also this is a huge part of how it's how we're running our businesses. It's how we're staying in touch with our really good friends. It's how it's just it's serving so many different purposes right now. It's it it just isn't really, it's not that anymore. And so just to have some reverence for your experience, I just believe is going to assist with coming back, like being able to still come back to social media and to these platforms in a way that feels meaningful, when we can have some reverence for the power of those platforms. So yeah, so that was just a little thing that wanted to be added on to what was just said. And so let's move on and talk a little bit about boundaries. And then I think we'll get into and how to sustainably keep logging on. So I've been over this week I've been really exploring, this concept, and I've been asking Isis on some guidance in some different areas. And okay, so I'm gonna share. Excuse me. I'm gonna share where she guided me and how this looked, because she's really brought me into a place of what it feels like to have good boundaries online, but still be very powerful online, right? So to show up in the way that you want to show up, to be seen in the way that you want to be seen, and be seen by those who you want to see you. There's so much magic that we can work. It's fun. Like, it's actually pretty incredible how much magic we can incorporate into just your whole routine with what your digital life looks like. So I want to talk about this idea of curated content, because we all know what that is and we can all relate to that idea. And I was like, is this right? Is this like, how should I feel about curated content? Like, are we really showing people the whole story, and is that healthy? And just all these, just had a lot of questions and sort of concerns, honestly, about just what this new relationship looks like with social media going forward. And Isis guided me. I kid you not, I can't even make this up. She guided me to find, because I was like, can you give me someone to look at who's, that can be inspiring? And I kid you not, she led me to this gorgeous creature. His name is Jeffree Star. He's on YouTube. This to me, it summarizes my relationship with Isis in such a cool, I just love this. Like, she leads me to Jeffree Star, and at some point, you guys, if you don't know who he is, you gotta look him up. It's just, he's the best. And so I'm like, really? So I'm like starting to watch, he's on YouTube. I'm like watching I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? I'm not getting it. I'm not seeing it. I'm not getting it. Why did you lead me here? And so I just kept watching a few more of his videos, and I learned about his story and how he came to be online. And pretty much, he changed his name to Jeffree Star, and he, of course, it's a beautiful story. He had just awful depression, was cutting his body really, really awfully, mutilating himself, like just in a really dark place. And then he changed his name and committed to this character of Jeffree Star. And I swear to you guys, like I've been feeling into this person, into this being, and what a light worker, like what a light worker, which is so like not who I expected Isis to show me as like as an example of someone who has a really healthy relationship with the internet. But he clearly does. And I was like, okay, so what can I take away from this? And what I was in meditation with her last night and trying to trying to go into this a little bit deeper. I'm like, how am I going to talk about this? This like kind of sounds crazy. Like, am I really going to talk about this in class? And you know, tell people, you know, if you once you Google the Jeffree Star, you're gonna get it. You're gonna be like, oh, okay. And she was like, yeah, well, he has a great relationship with this because he's just committed to this volume turned up character. And we all have that. We all have that inner kind of Jeffree Star, that inner like celebrity. We all have that. And it should be expressed. Now, it doesn't need to be seen by like a ton of people. I don't like that is not at all what I am saying right now. What I'm saying is here's a person who, when I tap into his energy, I truly believe he is being fully himself. And that is why he has been able to sustainably show up, because he's just completely like himself, completely himself. There are no filters. Like, there's definitely the volume turned up on like a performance aspect with this particular example. But why I believe like that was the guided, you know, example is because if you are not showing up, and I'm guilty of this, like if you're not showing up as just exactly who you are, and if we are looking at others and trying to emulate and trying to just, you know, do exactly what that person is doing, it burns us out so fast. And I think that it's an easy thing to get wrapped up in with social media strategy and social, just, you know, all the strategy involved. If we could just set that down for a moment and really just think about what are we absolutely crazy about right now, what feels like such a beautiful thing, even if it doesn't fit the conversation of what we're seeing around us. It's really important to express that. It's really important to commit to your character as a person, you know, the personality that you're here with, to just like embrace that queen, to embrace that, you know, inner king, inner queen, and know that, you know, everybody has that too, but to show up as that, it's such an inspiration. You know, it's so interesting. Like, I'm watching these videos of Jeffree Star do like meet and greets, and there's thousands of people coming to meet him. And he's a makeup artist, and just like this, he's a beautiful creature. I don't even know how to describe him other than he's just this like very beautiful trans, like not like it genderless, but like gorgeous being. And people meet him, and then they just start weeping, you know, and like what an incredible example of being a light worker. You know, if someone just comes and meets you and then they just weep, because it's like you are so yourself and you're so authentic, right? That by meeting someone like that who is just so fully unapologetically themselves. And I know there's a lot of Magdalene women on this call, and that is some big time Magdalene medicine, right? And a big frequency that she has to offer of like that unapologetic sort of presence. So if we can, you know, if we can find that within ourselves, and then have the courage to just be that, right? And then these cameras and these phones, they're simply the window in to that expression, to that embodiment of that genius, of that, you know, beautiful embodiment and expression. And anytime that I believe our part in social media, if it strays from that, it's exhausting and it's depleting, and it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And that's what we want, right? We want to be able to show up sustainably, consistently. And for me personally, what has gotten in the way from that, or what has made social media feel like a chore, is when I'm not really sharing what's going on for real, whether that be insane happiness, which is at times is very difficult to share, or the opposite, which I'm not saying, you don't have to, you choose, right? You choose what is important for you to share and feel very authentically in your expression. And that could mean that, I've just come to a place where I have no, I guess, for the sake of this call, I'm not going to say, yes, it's correct to have this very curated, very edited content. And it's correct to just, be laying in your bed, just woken up, and you're just talking about whatever's on your mind first thing waking up in the morning. They're both perfect. It's all of that is perfect to me. And from what I can feel from as I was like tapping into this call, I really wanted to be able to deliver some sort of like, this is the right way, this is the wrong way. And the thing is, like, we're each going to show up in our own crazy genius way. And for some people, though, that's going to be very edited, very filtered, very curated, right? To have like, so that it can be this really specific frequency and rock on. That's great. And then there's going to be, our other friends who are just like, I don't know, like in the kitchen with their kids and just go live because like this is life, and all parts of life are gorgeous. And it's really important that we see all of that and really honor all of that in just this whole spectrum of being online. But the thing is, like, where do we get to the place where it feels sustainable and exciting and like a snowball? It's getting so authentic, so unfiltered, which is, yeah, pun intended, unfiltered. So for those of you who are teaching and who are, I think this is kind of the last point that she brought up as I was creating the notes and just thinking about into some of the things with social media, because we have just our authentic expression, right? But then, like, at the end of the day, there, for most of you guys who are on this call, I think in our ideal world, we all just like live close by and together, and like we don't have to be online, and that's just not the case, right? So, and further, a lot of you guys, and myself included, we have different offerings and and businesses that we are responsible for and we want to see thriving. And so I was like, well, okay, yeah, authenticity, yes. But give me more, on for those of us who are here to be teachers. And I think all of you who are, I mean, goodness, yes, yeah, 100% of you're teaching, right? You are the embodiment that is you are the embodiment of living a really grounded, heart open, juicy life, real life. And we are blessed to see into your world, and for that world to actually come at the frequency of your world to come into that planet, to the Instagram planet, to the YouTube planet, for that frequency to come in. Oh, like, bless you for that work. And like, let's, here, I hope that we can be sustainable with it. Right. And that's like, that was kind of the point. And I was just like, but I want more. Like, what about the teachers, and what about those of you who have ministries? And what came through so clearly is that natural curiosity is the best teacher. So, and by that, what I think Isis was showing me is that if you want attention, and you do, like, you want attention, I want attention, I want more attention. Like, please, I want to guide people to a higher consciousness. Okay, I'm not afraid to say that. That's like, if I'm going to be here online, right, like, at the end of the day, that is important to me, that people start to love themselves more. It's really important. Okay, and I know that that's the same for you guys too, right? So, like, let's just be real with that. We want that, and we want as many people to say yes to that, and that, like, are people, right, that are like, that are the right fit for what we're serving up. So yeah, I mean, I was just like, but, like, give me some advice though. Like, how do you, how do we sort of attract in the new people? And it was just so clear. Natural curiosity is the best teacher. So if you can get someone to be curious for more, and it's like a sexy woman who's like starting, it's just like that sexual energy, right? It's just like, yeah, come in more. Like, do you want to know more? Do you want to know more? And that can, I think that that can really take us a long way. That energy of sparking the inspiration of someone to feel curious, you know, is it's a really powerful way to open someone up so that they are curious, right? They want more information. But and as I'm saying this, it kind of sounds like some other business advice, I guess, that I've heard, like, you want them wanting more or whatever. And it's just, but there's like such a subtle balance that I hope you guys can hear it in the frequency of how this is coming through, but how to really establish a relationship that is super juicy, right? And it doesn't, this can be like lovers or friends or anything. It's just like, when you're curious about someone, when you're actually curious about how did you do that, or like, how, like, how are you this happy, or why is your skin so clear? Like, what can be done to invoke someone to have, like, just, they want to know more. They're naturally curious about it. And so that was her answer to that, is just that sort of seduction that can be done in a very wholesome way, in a very pure way, a very divine way. And it's like fun. We came here, I really believe, like, in the beginning, beginning, before there were so many dark programs on the planet, I really think we were all kind of just playing hide and seek with each other. I think it was really playful like that, right? Curiously trying to find one another. Okay, so I say that, I say seduction, and that's what I mean. I mean a childlike hide and seek game where we're all just trying to find one another. Okay, so that is kind of that frequency that can be tapped into, and that can be explored way deeper within each of you, because your signature expression of that is so personal, obviously, right? It's because, I mean, it's so personal. So that's what she had to say about that. See if I'm just going to listen for a moment, and if there's nothing else, we're going to go into ceremony. Okay, no, it feels like a good time to go into ceremony. I think before we do that, there were just a few like little reminders that I wrote down that I would just feel better to kind of share those now before we get into the meditation together. So just some reminders, my reminders list. Right before I started the class, she said, there's an open invitation if you guys want to take a bath after listening to this. You can do this anytime, of course, but the invitation was like very specifically today, tonight. after you listen to this class to take a bath and invite Isis to come with you. I find bathing and self-care, that time is, it's some of the most meditative for me. And it really brings me back to other lifetimes where I think we took our bathing, like we just took our time, you know, like we don't have any freaking time anymore. Like they just got a lot to do in this lifetime, but like in other lifetimes where you just like would take your time bathing yourself, you like take a half a day and just like get yourself all in order. But she just, you know, she said that, sorry, that was a very random rant, but she would like to join you in your bath and with the water and just like with your nakedness and, you know, your womanhood, just, you know, bath time is such a beautiful time to connect with Isis. She's such, it's like, it feels like you're being bathed by mother. It's just so special. And so she wanted me to extend that invitation. Make sure you get some magnesium, some essential oils. What else? Light some candles, you know, just make it like really, really nice for yourself, a little ceremony for yourself. And there's going to be some water in the journey that we take today. So you can kind of just like bring that energy with you. And then, yeah, okay. And then just the reminder, like in that bath time, you guys, this is so much, I really love sharing my experience with Isis, but I do find that it tends to be like sort of similar, but different, right? For each of us, of course. So, you know, just that encouragement to like really invite her in and just be in a place of listening and what she has for you from her directly. Yeah, you know, just that reminder that she's always there. She's within you. She loves you so much. And that was really, yeah, such a reminder right before I started. And then she also wanted to say, you know, that the bath is wonderful, but like even more her style is if you want to just get some pen and paper out and actually write some of this out and bring some of those etheric ideas of what you're done with on social media, like what no longer is serving you and what you're ready to step into, and to actually write those things down. It's such a powerful act. It's such one that can be easily overlooked, but to actually take your pen and paper, she's told me time and time again that my pen is my most powerful magic wand. And that, yeah, I mean, just spell it out, right? But that again is just another reminder. And then one of the writing prompts that she suggested is, what can I do to support myself with these new commitments? So it's beautiful to write down like, okay, I want to start showing up in this way, or this is what I'm going to do to start exploring my authentic expression, or I'm going to reach out and find some new communities online. I'm going to find like a totally new flavor of people, right? Of crews of people, and, you know, see what that feels like. Put yourself out there a little bit, whatever it is. Maybe there's something that you want to start doing more consistently and show up once a week doing some sort of meditation or whatever it is. For me, it's going to be a lot of like makeup videos and things that are way more like just in my day-to-day life kind of thing. So whatever those things are for you, write them down. But then more importantly, what support do you need for those things to happen? How can you support yourself? What sort of day-to-day routines are going to be important for yourself? When are you going to have your offline time to recharge to the essence of who you are so that you can show up really strongly as that authentic expression you are logging on? Okay, there's like it's such an interesting energy because there's such an invitation for all of us to really step up in our expression and really go there. And yet at the same time to rest even more when it is time to rest, that you rest deeply, right? So that's where the cord cutting whole theme comes in, because the invitation, it's like when you are being seen, be seen, like be seen, be all of you. unapologetically. And then when it's not that time, then like really like conserve for yourself and just like, you know, and make sure that everybody in your life sort of understand that like that's what's going on in whatever way that looks like for each of you individually. It's really important to communicate these things. If you're living, you know, like if you have a partner, if you have a family, if you have kids, like it's really important to openly communicate sort of your new relationship with your digital life so that you don't feel embarrassed or you don't feel weird or you don't feel like a goofball. It's just important that like it's just clear, right? So like clearly communicating all of that with your loved ones. Doesn't matter what they think of it, right? It just doesn't matter. Like this is what you're doing now. So yeah, I mean, it just is. So getting everyone in your household like on the same page, that's really helpful. Really, really helpful. So let's go into the ceremony. This is where you're all invited to astral travel to a very specific location, actually here in Sedona, that I've been to myself. It's very private. Very few people have been there. It's on private land. I'll tell you a little bit more about it, but this would be a time maybe just to like, you can close your eyes if you want. Take a little drink of water. Make sure you're in a quiet place. I'm going to have a little bit of water before we start. Okay. I want to say thank you to Isis, to Hathor, to Mary Magdalene, whose energy is just so strongly supporting the energy around each of you right now, and myself. I feel so grateful and humbled to be able to work with these masters. Oh my God, it's such an honor. And I would like to invite all of us to start to just take like 4 or 5 or even 6 or more breaths really deeply right now, really deep in through your nose and out through your mouth. A hand on your heart and a hand on your womb. I want you, with your eyes closed, imagine that you are coming to meet these 3 masters. How exciting. I thought this was going to be just Isis. These 3 masters, Isis, Mary Magdalene, and Hathor. And the chorus and like millions and billions of angels that are surrounding this ceremony. Because this is really big work. This is big work that you're doing every day. There's like no days off. And it's okay. It's all right. Those deep breaths. And we're going to be traveling south of Sedona, Arizona, to a place called Spring Creek. And this is a beautiful creek in the middle of the desert, surrounded by trees. And it's the headwaters of this spring. So new water from the earth bubbling up and creating this really nice big creek. Beautiful, bubbling. You can just hear the water running around, like going down all the stones down the creek. And right at the headwaters, we have Isis. To her right, Mary Magdalene. To her left, the Ascended Master Hathor. Isis has her wings stretched out, all black. There's beautiful grass all around. Even though we're in the desert, this is a very lush area. So we have the headwaters where Isis is standing. We have the grass leading down to this creek, and we have the running water over the river rocks. And there's mesquite trees totally surrounding this area, along with cottonwood trees, juniper trees, many different variety of pine trees, all within just like 100 yards. It's very private here, extremely private. This is the kind of place that you see, and it's still like so pristinely Gaia. It's so pristinely Mother Earth in her natural form that you can't help but feel just like humbled to be here, to be a servant of Mother Earth. Like, what an honor, because the beauty is just incredible of this, the headwaters, the water coming out, this brand new virgin, like pristine, pure magic water. You can just hear it. It's loud, gushing out, making its way down into the desert. And we're really surrounded and very protected here by the junipers, by the wild roses, by all of the cacti medicine, really helping strengthen those boundaries. So it's just you here with these three ascended masters. Mary Magdalene and Hathor are here. They're kind of doing their own thing. Hathor has a rattle. She's of course making music. She's just like in her rhythm, right? She's setting a beat for this ceremony. And then Magdalene is here to assist Isis with the clearing of your auric field and your energy centers. So Isis is stepping forward. You're just off to the side of the creek. So she's walking over to you from the headwaters with Mary Magdalene. Of course, Hathor with her rattle, with her dancing in the background, bringing in the frequency of the Hathor star nations and all of their prayers through her sound medicine. Now Isis comes and stands directly in front of you, and Mary Magdalene is going to be behind you. And in one hand, Isis holds a feather, a vulture's feather, a long black feather. And the other, she has her staff, a magical staff that she holds on the ground. So she has her feather in her right hand, staff in the left. And it's amazing how easily you are able to communicate with both Mary Magdalene and Isis and Hathor telepathically. It's so comforting, so refreshing. It just feels like your energy can be contained that much more, and it feels really good. So Isis is really encouraging that this telepathic communication is something that is exercised, but that is completely up to you in how you would like to practice that, if you would like to continue to practice that. But there is the invitation. And so she is, with your permission, of course, going to assist with first the clearing of your auric field with her feather. And then she's going to pass over your energy centers. And Mary Magdalene is working as a mirror to Isis behind you. Okay, so anywhere that Isis is raising her hand with that feather and moving that around, Mary Magdalene is following her lead and using her hands. Okay, just the power of her beautiful bare hands behind you. So Isis is going to start, she's speaking beautiful, beautiful light language. As she begins, she's starting up above your head, reaching up above your head and swirling this feather. And you'll start to be able to see as she's doing this, you can hear the water still, like as the water is running, you can see as she's spinning this feather around you, it's like she's collecting cobwebs. She's just kind of clearing it out. And every once in a while, you'll see that there's like a cobweb stuck around that feather. And then what she does is she takes that feather, she flicks it into the running water. She speaks a prayer to it. The important thing that she wants to be very clear on is that as we're clearing this energy, as we're taking the dead and the debris and the things that are just simply no longer life and no longer serving your life, we honor. Okay, so there's a prayer of honor and thanksgiving and gratitude as she moves that feather into the water. Was like a big, like she's like whipping it almost. And so she's going to continue that above your head, over your shoulder, your right shoulder, your left shoulder, and your throat. Constantly moving in these circles, gathering and gathering and gathering any sort of energy in that beautiful feather. And again, whipping it into the water, saying our prayer of thanksgiving. And you can see her blow as well when she's ready to release that. After that prayer is done, blows that sort of cobweb energy, that dense energy, it's just gone, right? You're starting to feel that top part of your body. It's starting to lighten up a little bit. And now she's going to keep working her way down. She's going to go to your heart center, your solar plexus, around the sides, your right side, your left side. Just gently grazing this feather on your skin, working down to your womb. Anything that is no longer serving you there, wrapping it up in that feather, placing it in the water and allowing the water to, that beautiful, pure spring water, just rinse that feather clean. And then she comes back and is now kind of around your legs. It seems like in the thigh area, there's some cords that are ready to be completely dissolved and cut. And we're calling in the spirit of cedarwood as well, who's on this land, to come and help these cords, especially on the lower, just all cords on all parts of our beings that are no longer serving our highest and best good. The assistance of the spirit of cedarwood to come in as Isis is really clearing out all of that digital debris. And then the cords that have been attached there, just going to work all the way down to your feet. That those cords are blessed by the spirit of cedarwood, so that if you go to grab for them again, they're no longer there. That's the magic of cedarwood. It not only really helps clear those energetic cords, but it kind of dissolves the whole thing, so there's not that rope to kind of go back and want to grab onto that old pattern. Because cedarwood is such a powerful one when you're really ready to clear it. It's really over. It is over. And then I'm seeing Isis place her hands on the top of your feet, Okay. Her staff stuck in the ground, her feathers still in between her fingers, but she's just like pressing her palms on the top of your feet. Mary Magdalene's holding the back of your ankles, and they're saying a prayer to deepen your connection to Mother Earth, to Gaia. Really powerful prayer to stay connected and always be able to listen to her, always able to open ourselves up to her, to really feel her, to receive her through those energy centers on the bottom of our feet. Really sacred. Just such a sacred, sensitive, special area of your beautiful human body. The feet where you stand. So she's standing back up. Now we're going to go through again, and she's actually going to anoint. And Mary Magdalene, again, she'll do the same on the back of your body. Okay? And she's just using, the beautiful spring water. Okay, so she's holding her staff in one hand, her feather being, tucked away into her wing. And she's using her right hand, so the staff is in her left, she's using the right hand to go down and touch the water, and she touches the top of your head, blesses the top of your head. That all of that divine inspiration, that the divinity of your authenticity, of your higher self, for it to clearly download through your channel and through your embodied expression of your higher self. And that is the prayer and the anointed, that moment that she touches the top of your head. And again, with another dip of water on your third eye, that you're able to see yourself and to see your preferences, to see clearly, to see your reality clearly, as clearly as you can. Speaking blessings over that third eye, she's just rubbing just like a nice little ankh right on your forehead, the shape of an ankh. You can see your life with clarity. And now to the throat, she dips her hand into that beautiful spring water. And as she touches your throat, there's like a group of butterflies that go by, that just follow that spring. And you're watching these butterflies as Isis and Mary Magdalene bring their hands to your throat. That your expression is it's first seen by you, and it's first celebrated and honored by you, and not by anyone else. That you start to practice that expression in the intimacy of just being with yourself. Now she again is dipping her hands in the water, moving it to your heart center. Your beautiful, beautiful heart, that you are able to open yourself more to the love of all that is, the great spirit of all life. That you are able to physically feel that in your human body through your heart center. Her blessing is to come into relationship with the physical sensation of your heart center. When you feel your heart swell, may there be more and more blessings of that sensation in your life as a compass, as a guide to your human life, so that it is clear, that your yes is clear, that your no is clear, that you are clear, clearly in love with yourself. So much so that it's just so simple to find clarity, because the love comes first. And when it does, then the clarity follows so naturally, so effortlessly. And now both of these gorgeous, divine, feminine masters moving their blessing and their anointing to your solar plexus, that you start to embrace that you are the star of your life. You are the main character. You are the star, the starlight. Mary Magdalene is speaking light language to the back of your solar plexus. There's there's actually a quite intense solar plexus activation that Mary Magdalene is offering and speaking directly into your back. She has both of her hands up on the side of her lips, and she's speaking prayers into the back of your solar plexus, so that we can step more into being seen, more into letting it go too, not dwelling on what it used to look like or what it has looked like, what it might look like in the future. Just absolute presence with being seen. No more over preparing or dwelling too much on what was. It's just, there's a big invitation to becoming very present with how you need to be seen right now, how you want to be seen right now. Don't get too tripped up on the past or the future and what it's going to look like. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter right now. Tune into what will serve you today. You know, all of these four hands. So Mary Magdalene and Isis moving their attention now to your precious womb, pouring a blessing into your passion to create, your passion to express, your passion to be new, to create what is new, and connect to the purity of that, the innocence of that, the fun of that, the playfulness. You can hear Hathor dancing just a little bit louder, rattling just a little bit louder in the background when we get to that womb magic. Spend time with her, Isis says. Spend time with that womb energy. Bring your awareness into that space more often, even more often. Powerful genius here. Powerful genius creator right here. In your own body. And now, as we move down to the blessing of your root chakra, it's actually, I see Isis and Mary Magdalene placing their hands on your hips, right in that lower, like in that seat area. Okay, so right on your sides of your hips, and really holding this area for you, right? Feel how strong you are here. And that extends down into your legs, right? Your connectedness to the planet right now. And how we are bridging that magic that's being held right there, that's within you, right? This is where we stay connected to our purpose. And where, it's so much more than just feeling safe. it's just feeling alive. It's feeling present. It's feeling human. It's just, oh, it's a lot of life. It's a lot of life right here, right in that center point of your, your entire, from your feet to the top of your head, right? This area, your hips. Such a beautiful thing to feel into, and move your hips a lot, during the day. Especially, yeah, I mean, there's like a bowl there where energy can sometimes just get a bit trapped. So that's all being lifted out right now. Isis and Mary Magdalene are just really assisting with like their etheric hands and just like scooping all of that, just really filling it with like a lot of golden light. And then Isis just takes a few, she stands up and she looks at you and she just takes a few like very deep sacred breaths with you. Very deep breaths, as her way of just reminding you to keep connecting to that breath of life. It connects all of us. It connects everything. Incredibly, incredibly sacred. So Hathor is making her way closer to this, and this trinity of ascended masters now standing around you. And you're able, actually, they're just like guiding you over to the creek, to lay you down. Just letting that water wash over you, and all 6 hands of these divine feminine masters holding you, so that you feel very held, and it's very safe just to lay in this creek and let that water run over you and bless you. And allow the songs of Hathor to just add to the sounds of the water, of the birds, of the leaves rustling in the wind above you. And you have Hathor singing her tones as you just lay and receive this blessing of water over your whole body and down through your hair. You can feel your hair heavy and moving in the water. Isis at the top of your head, just taking some water and scooping it up and just brushing your hair. In the same way she would do this with Magdalene. Magdalene would go and lay in the waters and just allow Isis to come etherically and, move her hair in the water. Magdalene's at your feet and really blessing your feet, praying over your feet. You're so generous with the healing energy that they are able to extend if we are willing to receive it. It's a lot of radical support. So take your time in this water. Take your time here. And when you're finished in the water, there's a big, warm, red rock on the other side. And one of the best parts of being in this area is that beautifully intense sunshine and how it heats up those deep red rocks. And so there's just this boulder that you can go and lay down on, and it's warm. And you're just going to recharge with the sun. You're like a battery. You're like one of these devices we've been talking about, and we're just going to let the sun charge you up. We're feeling nice and clear. And now we're ready for that beautiful, the DNA upgrades that can wash over us with that sunlight into what's new, so we can blossom, we can start to rise up again. So just soak in that sunlight, soak in the energy of these divine, feminine, ascended masters, so available to you, so excited to be there for you in this human life, in this really beautiful story that you're writing, that you're sharing, but mostly that you're writing just for the just for the beauty of yourself, just for the entertainment of yourself, first and foremost. They're here for you. They're here for your journey. They're here for your expression. They want to assist with that. They want to see what you can do. And mostly when I say that, that's mostly what you can do on the inner plane, on the inner part of who you are, the inner planes, your inner work. They want to see that blossom. They want to help with that. And when you're feeling complete there, when you're feeling fully charged up, you can start to travel back to your body. Kind of wiggle your fingers and your toes. Breathing nice and deep. Maybe running your fingers through your hair a little bit, kind of feeling the top of your head, rubbing the bottom of your feet. Really coming into your body, but a little more new, and knowing yourself a little bit more, which is all we can do every day. We just know ourselves a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. I'm so grateful for your presence and your time today. I'm so grateful to the Ascended Masters, Isis, Hathor, Mary Magdalene. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm personally praying for each of you on this call, praying my blessings over your life. May you find expression and abundance and divinity and authenticity and comfort within your own heart. I love you so much. If you need anything, please feel free to reach out. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I love you all so much, and we'll connect again soon.